Where the set designer is concerned with creating the illusion of a locale or appropriate scenic background, the efforts of the costume designer are focused on adorning the actor in such a way that they reveal the character to the audience in both a conscious and subconscious manner. Like the set designer, the costume designer uses the elements of visual design to achieve this goal. However, the costume designer is chiefly attempting to convey both the external and internal qualities of a character. In this unit, we will take a look at the theories, practices, and processes that are involved with both costume and makeup design. The costume designer, first, is attempting to use the elements of design to reveal the overall nature of the character. Is the character rich or poor? Are they fastidious or sloppy? A costume designer will also use the elements to reveal such internal qualities as the character's personal ambition, their temperament, and their level of sophistication or simplicity. To accomplish this, a designer may put a wealthy character in wardrobe of a smooth texture. If you recall from our discussion on the elements of visual design, we said that a smooth texture has the tendency to suggest richness. So, conversely, if a costumer wants to reveal a poor character, he may put him in a costume of relatively rough texture. Naturally, this will be done in coordination with the creative and practical uses of all of the elements of visual design. Besides defining the overall nature of the character, the costumer will also attempt to reveal the relationship between characters. Which characters are close in a relationship? Which are at odds with one another? Which characters are dominant and which are submissive? The costumer must use a combination of line, mass, texture, ornament, and color to visually reveal the relationships between the characters. You may recall from our discussion of the elements of design that it is likely that the costume designer will put the Capulet family and the Montague family in complementary colors, or colors that are directly across from each other on the color wheel. Such a strategy would allow the audience to differentiate between the families. It would also reinforce the conflict between the families, as complementary colors in a close proximity tend to suggest conflict. Besides revealing the overall nature of the characters and revealing the relationships between the characters, the costumer will also attempt to define the nature of the relationships between the characters and their environment. As you've probably already guessed, this means that the costumer needs to work closely with the set designer to determine how that designer will use the elements of design to reveal the location. This is where teamwork becomes a necessary part of the theater process. If the character belongs to the environment, naturally, the costumer will try to put the character in a costume where the elements are analogous to the elements that the set designer uses to define the location. On the other hand, if the character is out of their element in the environment, the costumer will adjust the use of the elements to be in contrast with the environment. This technique would be evident in the musical comedy My Fair Lady. Professor Higgins' costume would match this quality. With the rough, torn, and toned-down quality of Eliza Doolittle's costume, which would indicate that she was clearly out of her element in Higgins' home. So as you can tell, being a costumer involves more than putting the actors in attractive clothing. A costumer will need to carefully study the play and make very specific determinations about each and every character, no matter how small the role is, to reinforce the qualities of character that we associate with each as the action of the play unfolds. In our next section, we will look at what criteria many costume designers consider as they analyze each character and try to determine how to use the elements of design to reveal both the character's outer and inner qualities. For now, go to your task for this section, and we'll see you next time.